A good afternoon to you all, and thank you for tuning in to the main event here this weekend, the Thrustmaster Formula SimRacing World Championship. And what a race it's going to be. Not the most of names onto the grid, only 17 drivers are available at the moment. We are missing Carlos Martin, David Greco as well, obviously a nice game changer, name maker of the league. But nevertheless, we have 17 drivers who are ready to let everything hopefully behind them and make us really happy to be here again with FSR. Fortunately, number 18 joined just a minute ago, Cuba Brzezinski, who has been in Abu Dhabi over the last couple of weeks, doing the GT Academy, Gran Turismo Academy, together with Nikodem Wisniewski, who actually got to the finals, didn't secure the seat, but nevertheless I think those guys had tremendous amounts of fun in Abu Dhabi. Next to me is Jeroen Kweekel. Are you here, Jeroen?
Yeah, I'm definitely here, Chris, and really excited for this Grand Prix. It should be a really good one.
Yeah, definitely. We already have seen, what was it, Q2 today in Pro. Was it 35.0? I believe it was.
Yep.
From
Falcon.
Adrian Falcon, indeed. And now it's 34.9 with Jurgen Simonsic. So basically, it's a nice signal, and that's that everyone has still done their homework quite good. I mean, Alessandro now with the 34.8. What is he going to show to us? Driving for the Twister team, where he didn't start this season, but I guess you could say he got a promotion. He is doing a fabulous job at the moment, and we're obviously missing some drivers. Personally, I miss Jim Paresis or Daniel Kiss, but yeah, unfortunately they are not here, and I believe Carlos Martin actually quitted Formula Sim Racing altogether, at least for this season. But we hope to see him back on track next year, obviously. Who will be here next year for sure is you, Jeroen. You are gonna drive this category. Are you already watching to see what other people are doing, or you don't really care at the moment?
It's me in the end who has got to perform, and obviously you are racing against other people, but you want to always get the maximum out of yourself, I would say, and then see where you end up.
Yeah, unfortunately you're not driving this weekend. You are FSR, its freshest WC winner, race winner. Got any feels about that? Are you unhappy that you're not driving?
Well, I can be unhappy, but it's not gonna do anything. I mean, GoSpeed has got 4 drivers, and they won't be kicked off their seat, and that's the way it is. So yeah, you can make a long story about it, but it's not gonna happen.
Well, there's only one Netrix car driving at the moment.
True.
I'd say get into a Netrix car and just go from back to the grid. No, but without any unfunny funnies. It's going to be a pleasure watching you next year, and I'm sure you're gonna give the Twister cars a run for their money. Later on today, during the warm-up session, we have a short interview with our newest champion, Peter Briljak, who clinched the championship last time around in Suzuka. And what a lovely venue to get your championship right there. But for now, it's basically the championship has been decided. And even if Peter still had 1 or 2 points to go to clinch the championship this race, I mean, it would have been decided as well. People are driving fast, and they aren't, changing their attitudes. I'm sure Peter Briljak is a little bit more relaxed. It's nice when you're a top racing driver, sim racing driver, to feel that edge of success. And therefore, I think that there's a slight load falling off his shoulders. And thinking, okay, I can just, entertain some people here. We asked him also in the interview if he would start from back of the grid, but in fashion he replied, I already did that in Suzuka, and indeed he did. So fair enough to him. At the moment though, 2 minutes 46 to go, and Michele Di Alessandro is still on P1 at the moment. Mohammed Patel cannot just pass him just yet. He's a few thousand short. Journey Simonsic is in P3 and Peter Briljak in P4. Johnny Simon, the other Ghost Speed driver, in P7. I mean, what would you have done, Jeroen? What would you have done? No, I'm not gonna create a fire in the Ghost Speed camp. Peter Briljak, however, is on P1 at the moment, and 3 drivers within 25 thousandths of a second. That's nice to see. Unfortunately, what is not nice to see is that they're all 3 twister cars. Those guys have been dominating this championship, and that's coming from me. There were some opportunities for others to win races, like you, Jeroen, and some others, but I mean, now Cuba won a race as well. But yeah, Twister is just dominating this season.
Absolutely, you can definitely see that in the championship as well, of course. But when you just watch the races, they always look so planted. I mean, Chris, you said it a lot of times during qualifying. They look so stable on the track. It's like on rails.
Yeah, especially that Patel guy. That Patel guy. No, but I mean, we have an interview with him in 2 weeks' time when we're in Brazil. So I'm definitely gonna ask him, like, what are you guys doing before the qualify? I mean, why is your car looking like it's on rails? It's insane, but it's actually true. I mean, those cars are just glued to the road right there.
Definitely. So Peter Briljak then only 5 thousandths of a second quicker, excuse me, than Michele D'Alessandro. Currently in 10th position. Michele, yes. Oh, it's Italian.
Michele D'Alessandro. Michele, that sounds like a girl. But maybe he is a little girl as well, aren't you, Alessandro? No, I'm friendly with him. No, but sorry, just looked if it sounded funny.
It is funny. So let's keep it at Michele. Dejan Kostadinov in 10th at the moment. Couple of tenths behind Hodes. Leider in 11th, and those are the guys who are currently missing out, of course, on the top 10. As Simocic is on his lap at the moment. 4th place.
Hopefully for Dejan Kostadinov, he can improve as well. Dejan Kostadinov was the pole position sitter in round 6 or 7 when we were in Canada on the legendary circuit of Gilles de Villeneuve. He actually trained pole position, but he's now 8 tenths short of Peter Briljak. And well, it shows that, you know, you have to practice every Grand Prix. You might have the potential, you might have the skill, but if you're not doing it at the right moments, then you're never going to get anywhere. People are starting their last stints now, even Michele D'Alessandro, but I think he is relatively safe. And that's the thing also in real Formula 1. You have like Mercedes. I'm almost every time confused that Mercedes is doing like 8 or 10 laps in Q1. I'm like, just put 1 lap on the board and, you know, save the tires. But you know, for these drivers as well, it's the same story. They just wanna go outside and don't have to worry about tire wear. Just press escape and you know, start racing again on a fresh soft set. But we did have that in the past, where your tire wearage was, you know, came with you during Q2 into the race. And actually, when you had a big lockup last year or 2 years ago in Q2, you would actually be bummed out because you would have to start the race with flat spotted tires. So Peter Briljak still on P1, followed by his teammates D'Alessandro and Mohamed Patel. Journey Simmons is best of the rest, but he doesn't decide to go out. He thinks he's safe in P4, and well, you know, with more than half a second to spare, I can't say he is wrong. Mohamed Patel steals away the pole position from Peter Briljak. In what a fashion it has, it's showing. I mean, they are looking so competitive indeed. Cuba Brzezinski puts himself into P6, but Francesco Bigazzi puts himself into P4. Sam Boulik-Bassi is trying to hug the crowd with his car, flies into the barriers, intentionally though, and he puts himself on P7. So we have our top 10 shootout. It seems like Dejan Kostadinov has managed to secure a position of a place into the Q2 order. Martin Hodes as well, really a tastemaker yesterday in the ace race, is now having trouble to secure his Q2 spot. That is showing you how competitive this field actually is. Even George Winter, who didn't have any problems qualifying in the top 3 in Pro, is now in P14 and more than a second shy of P1. So here we go with Q2, and instantly Journey Simonsis and Johnny Simon are going out. Can you explain why they're doing this, Jeroen?
No.
They just love each other.
Maybe, yes. Yeah, see they line up side by side as well, so...
Yeah, oh my god.
Yeah, they need each other. Maybe some kind of, ghost speak slipstreaming down the back straight.
Oh no, that would be... I would sound the geek alert then. I mean, in Monza sure, but
Yep.
It's interesting to see though. Johnny Simon instantly putting the pedal to the metal. And Sam Bullet-Bassi also going out on track. I really hate this visual bug though, where everyone is just driving on hard compound tires whilst they're not. But yeah, nothing is perfect, and so isn't rFactor 2. But I do think it's potential. I mean, if we compare to Australia as well with the new builds as well. I mean, back then we were on 0.7 or 0.8. Now we actually are in version 1.008. So EC made a lot of progress.
Oh yeah, definitely. They keep working on this title, and obviously they released the new content in terms of tracks a few days ago with the Monaco and the old the old Spal layout being redone. So it's getting some work, and it's nice to see all those builds being released, and also nice to see them being used in FSR once they are found stable enough.
And next year, it's not yet official, I believe, but next year our dear Mr. President, Christopher Kopp, is aiming to put Turkey on the track, which I think is lovely. I mean,
yeah,
it's an absolute stunning track. And also another track, Spain, it was. We haven't seen Spain for a long time now. Circuito da Catalunya. I think the rFactor 2 related problems, but having used those two tracks on the calendar is really nice. The only thing I love more about Spain is the old version, where you didn't have the stupid sector 3 and you could still go flat out in the last corner. It was a really dangerous corner as well. I understand their decisions, but it's a dangerous sport as well.
Yep. We're also looking to get the old Hockenheim in by the way.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, old Hockenheim. Oh man, that's such a nice manner, and that's coming from an American, who doesn't know anything about Formula 1, just NASCAR and
only watches IndyCar. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but this is really nice. I think we're happy to have those tracks on the calendar, and fortunately, Chris Kopp has that inside as well. Nevertheless, we don't have to exaggerate onto matters that are, basically upcoming for next year. There's a big race on today, and at the moment then people driving for a pole position spot, but some people have aborted their laps, like Dion Kostadinov, and I believe Bugatti is the first one on a flyer, I think. Or is he?
Well, what is going to be the case is that Simoncic is going to cross the line right about now, going to give the first benchmarking due to session. See what he can do. He is purple through the second sector, although Peter Breuer is quickly as well. And he sets a 135.0 on the board. That's the first benchmark, of course, and immediately Simon crosses the line, and he does 35.8 only. That is quite a bit slower. Must have made a mistake somewhere.
Definitely into Chris de Jong territory there. He can do much better than that. So maybe a little bit of a messed up lap there from Simon, but if you make a mistake in the last corner, just better end the lap than aborting it. I assume he has 6 more minutes to make us surprised about his lap time, and I'm sure he will put a better lap time in. Who did just put a better lap time in the Simoncic is Peter Breuer, and after that Patel, who are clinching the 34 territory once more. 34.8, 34.9 for Patel and Breuer. So really, if we, and with we I mean the 10 drivers on track now, if we don't want to see any go of Twister racing cars on pole position, Journey Simoncic and Kuba Brzezinski just have to get that extra notch of speed, but 3/10, it's a huge gap actually. We're already considering that Cuba is a guy who knows how to drive. He's really, in my opinion, the next best talent in the Formula Sim racing. I mean, get wrecked, Kweekel. But he really knows what he's doing, and he's driving every lap on the limit. So to see him already 3-4 tenths down, it's yeah, it's just showing how fast the Twister is going at the moment. And I'm sure Patel wants some bragging rights over Brilliak. He's like, okay, you might have been the champion. I've had some difficulties as well, but I can definitely beat you in a one-on-one fight. That's the thing with the championship though. On some cases you need luck. You need a little bit of luck, and you need the consistency and the reliability. And when we look at Patel, I mean, it was really unfortunate for him that he didn't finish in P1 in China when his engine blew up in the last lap when he was leading the race. So, yeah, I mean, but yeah, those things happen. I don't know if Peter Brilliak actually had a DNF this year. Can't remember one, but I think there has to be one or maybe two. So Mohammed Patel still on P1, leading this dance with a 34.875. Definitely better than the rest. Only 2 people able to go into the 34 seconds at the moment. But I do think that other people are able to as well. They just need their shot. They just need their to find their momentum. But there's only 3 minutes 45 to go. Not much room for these guys to improve. Francesco Bigazzi has done 4 attempts, or basically 3 attempts. He's on the flyer. No, I believe no, he is not. Guillaume Kostinov also is going out of the pits now, and without having completed any single lap. Hopefully for his sake he saved the best for last, because with 3 minutes 20 on the board, time is ticking out for him.
We've got the next bunch of cars coming around the final couple of corners to set their lap times. Is there any kind of improvement? Well, Brilliak is definitely going for it. Same for Kuba Brzezinski. Those two have set purple sector times. First of all, Simulchich does not improve. He stays in P3 at the moment. Then it's Johnny Simon. Let's see what he can do. Has had the better lap so far and can get himself up to P5 with a 0.2. That's a bit more like it, but still 4 tenths down on Mohammed Patel, who is still going for it. As I said, as Brilliak comes around the final corner right now as well. The Alessandro in third. But what can Peter Brilliak do? Here he comes around the final couple of corners, and he sets a 0.6 right now. Amazing lap time.
Cheat! No, joking, but that's really outstanding from Peter. I mean, 6 tenths the gap between Brilliak and Simon or Kuba Brzezinski at the moment. That is giving off a message. That's saying, okay, I'm the champion for a reason here. You all, you maggots, just sit down and let the master show how he's doing it. I mean, insane lap from Peter.
Yeah, Mohammed Patel improved as well, but only by 1,000th of a second. That shows as well that these guys are right up to their limit. But Brilliak is having so much headroom here, more than 2 tenths to his teammate Patel. An outstanding lap, as you have said, and these drivers will get one more shot at it. But is anyone going to get close to that 0.6 from Brilliak? That's the question.
That's the question indeed. And like I've said in Pro, that you were a hero on going out late in terms of the qualifying sessions. Mohammed Patel has just gone out again, and with 5 or 10 seconds to spare, he will be the last guy to go on track and try to beat this provisional pole position time from Peter Brilliak. He will have to keep his mind together, because 34.6 is not really any margin for mistakes when you drive that fast. But I'm sure if you ask Peter, he will be like a true racing gentleman. He was like, maybe a 10th there, maybe a 10th there. A true racer has never done any perfect laps. It can always be better. But that's the beauty as well. I mean, I remember myself when I first drove the Nordschleife. When you do the second time, you're a little bit quicker. Then you're like, okay, another one, and you want to get quicker. But these guys are just in another level.
looking at Kuba Brzezinski at the moment, he is one of those guys who are going to get a lap in Simulchich as well. He is currently on the flyer. I'm looking forward to see what the Brzezinski can do as well. Currently in 5th place. You talked about him, Chris Jong, going to Abu Dhabi, having, well, I presume a really good time over there alongside Nikodem Wisniewski, another FSR driver. Brzezinski did, unfortunately for him, not improve in the first sector. Two guys who did improve are Simulchich and Simon, but it is not by the kind of margin you would expect to beat Peter Briljak with. But we'll see what those guys can do, as Brzezinski is down the back straight at the moment, opens up the DRS. And Simulchich is in the final sector in the meantime, hasn't improved in the middle sector. So Simulchich needs to put the pedal to the metal in his final sector if he wants to gain any ground. But if he improves by 10 thousandths of a second, he immediately jumps Michele D'Alessandro.
Indeed, he does. Well said. And Journey Simulchich now aborts his lap.
He goes into the pit lane.
Aborts his lap. Unfortunately for him, still has P4 at the moment. Still every driver on track, except for Dion Costantino, who didn't manage to set any lap time whatsoever. Same for Francesco Bigazzi, who is still in a lap at the moment. But 7 attempts for the both of them, and they haven't made any lap whatsoever. Ooh, Sam Bullet-Bassi going really wide there off the track. Don't think this will be a personal improvement. Peter Briljak is done. He's into the pit. Michele D'Alessandro comes on to start-finish line and puts up a 34.9 onto the board. Improves himself, not his position though. Mohammed Patel, the last guy to cross start-finish, I believe. Or with Bigazzi.
Yeah, it's
Patel, can he get pole position however? 2.5 tenths he needs to improve. He does! Mohammed Patel, completely insane driving at the last lap of this qualifying session. Francesco Bigazzi actually puts a lap in, and it's not the least of times. It's a P3 for him, 34.9 A3, where D'Alessandro did a 994. So quicker than a wink of an eye. But Mohammed taking pole position here. I didn't think he would do it though. 2.5 tenths before this. Maybe he had some time left. He had to search really deep, like in the top of his socks. But he did it.
Well, 35.4 from Patel in the final sector, 0.6 for Briljak. That's where he gained the time. He was actually down on Briljak's time after the second sector by about a tenth or one, maybe even two. But he found it in the final sector, and that is amazing, completely out of the blue. But an astonishing lap from both Twisted drivers, I would say, and
yeah,
having a
definitely.
clear margin.
Well, we are having a little bit of a break. We are going to the, not the commercial break at the moment. We are listening to the pre-recorded interview I had with Peter Briljak 2 days ago. And, well, I encourage you all to listen to the world champion of this year. Here he comes, Peter Briljak. So, Peter Briljak, world champion of 2015. Thanks for having you here.
Thanks, Chris.
Are you happy to be here as a champion?
Well, it sure feels nice, yes.
Yeah, the excitement isn't noticeable in your voice, or is that just me? Have you calmed down already?
Yeah, it actually just lasted a couple of days, really. Nothing too special.
So you were waking up and you were like, yeah man, I'm the champion this year?
No, I just, reached the end of the line, and it was a success.
Yeah, it must have been tough this year, even though it didn't look tough from our perspective, the viewers. But did you put in a lot of effort in testing, in terms of, getting yourself edged race by race?
Well, I do believe there's something called like over-testing, doing too many laps even. I didn't do that much, to be honest, not more than last year. But going into the season, we all thought, Morgan was going to be the fastest guy, and we're all going to have to join forces and try to beat him, at least one of us. But then after he didn't race anymore in Malaysia, we kind of saw that there was an opportunity. So it was a fight amongst the teammates.
Yeah, definitely, and it looked like that in terms of qualification as well. Definitely in the early seasons after Morgan Moran didn't participate anymore. It was basically a shootout between you and Mohammed Patel. in qualify and in the race, and then sometimes Daniel Kiss would make life hard, or someone else.
Yeah, it was Jim who was the closest initially. He had really good qualifying and he was able to stay up front. We were all pretty equal in race pace, I have to say. But then, around Canada or something, Jim had a bad race and I opened up the gap. And from there on, I knew pretty much that this was my chance, right? I had like 30 points of advantage.
And did you have team orders during the season?
No, it was completely free to race.
Okay, well that's at least nice to know. So fair battles. And what is your aim for the next couple of races? I mean, you are the champion. There are still 2 rounds to go. You're just gonna have some fun starting in the backfield or something. Give us a show.
Well, I'm not sure. I think I'll still try to win them. I might try to take some other strategy, to make it more interesting, but I think I'll just make it business as usual.
Well, you could, of course, like turn around in the pit and just, do a reverse lap, get a black flag, retard award from Jeroen and myself.
I already did that at Suzuka.
Oh, you did? Yeah. Well, it was an awesome race. Definitely one of my favorites of the year, and it must be nice to clinch the championship in Suzuka as well.
Yeah, it's one of the best tracks. I mean, I think it's in the top 3.
So, coming up to next year, you're gonna stay with Twister?
I'm actually not sure if I will race next year. I don't have any plans, but I might be busy with university and stuff. And it's also been 5 straight years since I entered FSR. I always did almost every race. So, running a little bit out of steam. But I'm not completely decided, but I'll just say it's not sure if I'll participate next year.
Okay. Well, for my part, thanks for having you here. We have to cut it short because the warm-up is probably ending in 1 or 2 minutes. Wish you the best of luck for the race, which starts in, what is it, 5 minutes from now? Huh? No, but we will wish you the best for whatever comes to you. If you are stopping your sim racing career after these last 2 rounds, you're at least stopping on a high, aren't you?
Yeah, that's a great feeling, really. You go out as the best, right?
Yeah, the champion in Pro 2 years ago. Last year you were the champion in Ace, and now you are the champion in WC.
Yeah, you mean 2012 Pro and 2013 Ace?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Time is going so rapidly. No, but thanks for the interview, Peter. And next week or in 2 weeks' time, we will have Mohammed Patel here, and he will obviously rant about Peter Biljak, how he was faster or just really lucky at this guy, at that guy, whatever. But for now, Peter, thanks for having you here, and have a great race.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
And welcome back here live at Formula Sim Racing WC. Hope you enjoyed that interview. I am looking a little bit to Sam. Did we already do the commercial break? We have done the commercial break as well. That's good. We are 5 minutes into warm-up and we still have 5 minutes to do. Let's see though, there was a little bit of a server issue which caused the railroad to disappear, but hopefully it will rubber in quite quickly as well.
Yeah. Now, what they have done, Chris, by the way, this is a practice. I think they are going to finish this session and then do like 2 minutes of warm-up or something like that. Is something which I get from Chris. I'm looking a bit at Chris whether that is right. But I think it is the case, and the railroad skill has been set to ×4, so it should rubber in a bit quicker than normally.
Yeah, well, I don't know what these drivers are blathering on about, to be honest. I mean, it's the same conditions for each and every one.
Yep.
You know, and you know, it's fair and square. But maybe, I mean, of course, it's a little bit of confidence as well if you have the exact same grip that you would have on your own testing server. But you know, what if it decides, you know, we're gonna have a rainy race because it's raining in Austin, you know? I mean, can't blame the railroad then.
Unfortunately,
Stop,
though,
there's water on the track. Yeah, man, it's raining. Do we have any percentage?
No. For the whole weekend there was like absolutely no percentage chance of rain. So we won't see it here today. We may see it in 3 weeks time, I think, at Interlagos. And how nice would that be?
Yeah, that would be really awesome indeed.
I mean, I don't think we have seen any rain races so far in WC, have we? I mean, we saw one in Spa for Ace.
One in Spa on Ace, but that's the only one.
Right. So we're waiting for this practice session to get finished and we'll see what happens. I believe it's a short warm-up and then we're gonna go straight into the race and hopefully we are going to get entertained. Just like we did in the pro race, but I'm pretty sure that it won't be just like the pro race where there were some incidents which were happening and some incidents were rather silly, but you know, this is the top of the iceberg. This is the World Championship. Wouldn't expect that from these drivers.
Definitely not. That's not what they are going to show us as well. First turn, we have seen some incidents in pro. Can always be expected. And still, I mean, in WC, it's not like, you know, we're all humans. It's you know, we're all humans, and like in real Formula 1, we have seen major pileups as well. And of course, Spa 1990, what was it, 8, 7, whatever, 8, I believe. You know, it went completely ham as well in the first couple of laps. But back then, you obviously had the spare.
The spare
cars and whatever, so the pace car, or the T car, whatever. So we're getting closer and closer to the start of this race. Do you think it will be an all of I want to say Precision Motorsports, what the hell? Do you think it's an all twister battle today, Kweekel?
Oh, it's so, you know, tempting to say yes. If you look at the season they have had, we've said it before, really dominant. I would expect it that it's going to be a fight between the twisters, but I think it could be quite a nice actually between the two drivers. I mean, you said it before, the championship is over. It's Peter Briljak being champion, and maybe Patel still wants to show what he has got himself as well, trying to mix himself up with Briljak, and maybe both can deliver an astonishing fight we will all remember.
Yeah, well, actually at the moment it's Francesco Bigazzi who clocked the exact same time as Peter Briljak did in warm-up, a 40.205. Mind you, these drivers are driving with at least 200 liters in their car, No fuel regulations here about 100 liters per hour at any given moment, whatever. I mean, it's not gonna happen here. But in some races, sure, these WC drivers have to save fuel for 3 or 4 laps. You know, it's like Singapore, I think. It's a long race.
Yeah, Singapore was one of those races where you definitely had to save a little bit of fuel.
Yeah,
We saw
a
some
little bit of
drivers
short
even running
shifting
out of fuel in Pro, right?
and I think lifting before the corner, right? Like brake, where you would normally brake at 100 meters, you would like lift the throttle at 125, right? And then you just brake at 70.
Yeah, lift and coast. Short shifting also makes quite a big of difference, to be honest, especially over a race distance.
Yeah,
but even on
we're
the
talking
formation
about
lap,
4 or
you
5
can,
liters here of saving, right?
Say again, please.
We're talking about 4 or 5 liters here of saving, right?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't that bad, but were a couple of liters. But you can also save quite a bit on the formation lap. You know, during the Singapore formation lap, we saw a lot of drivers using their clutch and whatnot. That can really help as well with fuel saving.
True. Yeah, but fortunately, it's not as bad as in Le Mans. I mean, people often really like Le Mans 24 hours. To be honest, I can't be bothered. You know, all those diesel hybrid cars and whatever. But yeah, we're in an age where, like I said in the Pro broadcast, the engine of a Formula 1 car is called a power unit as well. I mean, that's really bad. Let's see, we are going to the race, it seems, aren't we? Or a little bit of a warm-up session.
Yeah.
Alright,
so
enough.
It must be quite nicely rubbered now. And this one is the official kind of warm-up session, if you like to call it that.
We should get Durex as a sponsor for FSR. Like best rubber. No, so still a small warm-up session remaining here. I do think like 2 or 3 minutes will pass before we get into the race. And I'm really looking forward to this every weekend again. I mean, it's gonna be packed with action. I'm sure. Maybe not as much action as we are used to seeing in the lower categories in Lap 1. These drives are a little bit more, well, I can't say realistic and conserved, but yeah, we didn't see any major fuck-ups in the previous series. Obviously saw a big starting crash in Ace, but yeah. I really hope that Francesco Di Gazzi can turn some heads around. He is, well, looking like really strong in warm-up times at least, or other people are just not showing the back of their tongues. But Di Gazzi is a driver who is fast, who has the consistency, and he already showed that in Singapore, where unfortunately he didn't get into the podium spots, I believe, with the penalties or whatever. At least he showed us that he is well capable of, you know, creating a victory for himself. But will it be today? I don't know. The Twisters are looking very strong indeed.
Starting on the medium tire, most likely are Thomas Everly, Dejan Kostadinov, Blair Disley and John Saxon. At least they are on the medium tire right now in warm-up, which would indicate that they are going to start on it as well. It's going to be interesting to see what they can do. I would expect something like a, what is it, 4-stop, maybe 3 of you are really conservative on the tires.
Yeah.
Maybe even a 5-stop from some guys who were a little bit worse at managing those tires. But overall, I would say about 4 stops during this race.
I think you're right. Maybe a 3-stop with 2 stints of medium here. The medium tire isn't that bad, to be honest. It's you can overpush it a little bit, and it won't degrade that hard as the softs, let alone the super softs. So we are about to go to the race start here. What a race start it will be. The technical turn 1 with plenty of runoff areas to you know, make your way past one another, and it's not a tight first corner if you look at the season in total. I'm happy, to be honest, that we don't have Monaco this year. I mean, sure, it's a lovely track to drive, but 78 laps in on a circuit where you basically can't overtake. A little bit boring in my opinion. So we are going to the race right now. First, obviously, the warm-up lap here. And I'm really curious to see who will lead after turn 1. Or after lap 1, better said. I'm sure that Birliak will try to make the jump on Patel. Whilst Michele Alessandro is stationary on track. It doesn't matter at all. It's time to race. 56 laps in front of us. And, let's see who will make some heads turn here. I do think it's interesting to see that race winners from this year aren't really competing overall for victories. They really need some sort of luck in, or bad things to go wrong in the Twister camp in order to push themselves into podium scoring positions and maybe even wins. I mean, if we look at Kiefer Brzezinski, with all the respect, the gaps are small, but he qualified himself into P6, and yet he has done a fantastic job this year by winning a race.
Right, so most cars on the grid right now as the formation lap is about to get on the way. 56 laps, you have said it, Chris, around this track, and Patel starts from P1, being followed by his teammate and the world champion Peter Birliak from Croatia, I believe it is.
Disley's not here though.
And Disley is indeed not here. Disley is stationary in the pit.
Doing a
standing
technical
there.
flap there. Sorry, Blair, but I mean, why wouldn't he be here? I mean, it's not like he got a back of the grid or a start from pit lane, but because he obviously competed into Q1. Well, let's see, Hodas is stationary as well. What is wrong with these guys?
Oh, nice spot, Hodas.
Yeah, what the hell?
Oh, there has been. What?
Oh, there has been contact?
Yep.
There has been contact! What the hell? Martin Hodas just lagging off a little bit and then dropping back. Oh my god. And it was Mike Partington with Kweekel unable to avoid the contact there, all because Martin Hodas is apparently AFK or, well, having some technical difficulties. But yeah, his car's turned off. He's steering his wheel. Yeah, you're not gonna get rolling from there. Tries to get the car rolling again.
Indeed, he tries to get it back up again, but I doubt whether he's able to do it. He tries to. No,
well, you can restart it there if you get like 20
can.
kVA.
You need enough momentum.
But he's braking as well. Oh my god. Well, the anti-stall obviously kicks in as well, so I really don't understand what's happening with Hodas. I think it's a little bit of a lag difficulty there, but unfortunately for him, it seems that it's race over already. But a crash on the warm-up lap, that's really obnoxious. But to be fair, for Mike Partington, I mean, there's no way he could have avoided that, because Martin was just reappearing on the track in my screen at least.
Yeah, for me as well. He lost the front wing end plate, that's for sure.
Well,
and
restart
I think
formation,
with a formation
lap,
lap, yep, a restart indeed. We've got the restart of the formation lap after Martin Hodas had some kind of lag issue, finds himself in the wall, tries to get his engine back up and running. Cannot do it, and so we have a restart. Mike Partington will be happy, of course, with that. I think we all are.
Yeah, and Blair Disley, hopefully he will be present as well, since he wasn't present during the during the last warm-up lap. But I think it's a good decision from Christopher Cobb. We want to see a clean race, and with people already DCing in lap 1, it's an epic situation.
Having said that, the president just let us know that Hodas could actually not press escape somehow. Now he can, just went onto the grid is back in the garage, so he is able to press escape again. Nonetheless, though, let's forget about that and start the formation lap once again, and hopefully for the final time as well, of course. We'll be heading into a 56 lap long race.
And Hodas is having the no wheels on my car bug. He's still into the pit.
Same for Disley.
Ah man, this is messed up. This is really one of the messiest starts I have seen in WC in a long time. Really weird. Oh, I remember the good old days during formation laps when you know, in real Formula 1, where the drivers were just weaving out of the car like, my engine, my car. You
Right.
know? And it had to be aborted, but yeah. And indeed, Johnny Simon is joking around saying 4:30 a.m. What happened there? You know, with the restarts of the warm-up, but he also says it's just a joke. So it's 4:30 in the night in Australia right now. Johnny Simon, definitely a prime example of determination there. And I am afraid for Martin Hodas that he is not going to participate in this race. Same for Blair Disley, who is still stationary into the pit. I really don't understand anything of that, but I'm sure it must have its reasons.
Yeah, maybe he wants to actually start from the pit lane. Who knows? We'll see whether he
No.
goes to the pit lane. Who knows? You never know. See whether he exits the pit lane after these guys come around the final couple of corners. Patel once again starting from that first place. We'll see what he can do, and we'll see whether Peter Briojak is going to apply pressure on him. I'm sure he's going to try it. And let's have a look at Bigazzi as well. What can he do today? Michele D'Alessandro has looked rather strong as well. And we have got 4 drivers who are starting on the medium. And one of them is 10th place Dian Kostadinov, who's going there for a different strategy, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, and because he didn't complete any laps on in Q2, he is allowed to start on the medium compounds indeed. Martin Hodas still not present. He did talk to us. He said no wheels on my car. Ugh. No, it's a little bit of a visual bug at FSR. If you alt up and you go back into the game, there are some cars and sometimes your own car who are, well, not having any wheels, so to speak. Nevertheless, this race is going underway. Either with or without Martin Hodas and Blair Disley, it is time to turn on the lights and lane off after that off.
So here we go, waiting for those lights to come on. They are going to do so right about now. Here we go, the lights are coming on. We've got both lights on or all lights on, and they are out right now. What did Patel do? Got off the line reasonably well. Patel behind him, or Burek rather behind him, of course. Tries to go around the outside, brings rather late into turn 1. Side by side are the twisted cars, and Patel still holds the lead after turn 1. No major corners, I think, at the back. Chris, can you say anything about it? No,
Now
okay,
everyone
Patel
is safely off. Johnny Simon lost a lot of places though. Is currently in P9. But everyone made it relatively safely through.
That's very good. Patel still leading, and Bigazzi in third, Alessandro in fourth. No position changes over there, that's for sure. But Lubassi in 6 is in front of his teammate Kuba Brzezinski. Origin trying to find a couple of points over here, of course, in the constructors. There's a bit of an incident in Owen. Simon goes flying. The incident between Johnny Simon and Kostadinov, and a lot of debris on track at the moment in turn 11.
Oh, what happened there? I am looking at it now. A lot of people there. Johnny Simon was actually a passenger there. It was right in front of him. It was Dian Kostadinov who was way too optimistic, and Johnny Simon unable to avoid any contact there. On the first lap it was Danny van der Niet who got collected by George Winter there, who made a very poor falling start. So, well, the circus is underway, but not without any crashes. already Johnny Simon 8 seconds down on the leader in half a lap time.
Final corner is the leader obviously in this race. First lap completed, Patel being followed by Brill. No changes, as I said, over there in a few crashes, as you have mentioned, Chris, and the midfield being wrapped apart a little bit. Good news is that the top 7 or so is being separated by 4 seconds, so they are somewhat close, and it's nice to see that those twisters are still in there as well, going side by side into turn 1, but managed to keep it clean, luckily.
Yeah, definitely, but what a crash that was, and it was just a little bit of chaos that started people, that sent people flying. I mean, I really have no idea what Dion Kostadinov did there, but maybe it looked a little bit different on his screen. I have to take that into effect. I have to take that into consideration, but you know, it's nevertheless unfortunate for these guys. I mean, George Winter, 15 seconds behind the leader of this race in one lap. So Brilliak and Patel already making life hard for each other. That's what we want to see, obviously. But Francesco Bigazzi has a little bit of trouble following those twister cars, who are just showing once more that they're in a league of their own. And hopefully for Bigazzi they make a mistake, because seemingly on pace he's not able to keep close to them. Also Michele D'Alessandro has a little bit of trouble following Bigazzi there. So gaps instantly being created here amongst these drivers. So lap 2 completed now, the order relatively unchanged. Mohamed Patel still leading for Peter Brilliak, who does not have any shots into turn 1. Maybe if Patel outbreaks him, but you know, steady as he is, Patel is not going to make any of those rookie mistakes. He knows what he's here for, and that's the full 25 points and the bragging rights over Peter Brilliak for at least this weekend. And in the midfield though, Mike Partington has his pit light on. I don't know why that is. Maybe he sustained some damage. I have no idea. But behind that, the pack is just a little bit, you know, edging out, I would say. Martin Hodes already in P14 after having after being forced to start from the pit. There it is, with the same story, but in P17. The gaps already being created between the first and the last guy. George Winter now is going on offensive towards Blair Disley. Blair Disley has no other choice but to let him go, especially with the DRS wide open. And Mike Partington, I'm really curious to see if he is going to the pit or if he isn't. Definitely not for a tire change. I mean, we're 2 or 3 laps in the race.
I think it's his front right wing end plate which he has lost. I can't see it being there. He stays out though.
Yeah, but you wouldn't go to the pit for an end plate.
True, true.
So Bigazzi didn't lose any amount of time during the last lap. He is still 1.4 seconds away from Mohamed Patel, who is driving steadily into P1 in this opening stint of the race. Michele D'Alessandro just following right there. Jeroen Simoncic didn't have the qualifying momentum that he showed us in Monza, for example, and the race after that, but still being up there, still has the leaders of this race in his side. It's showing that Simoncic is pushing quite dramatically as well.
He's trying to get a move in on Michele D'Alessandro. Not gonna happen here down his back straight. He has got DRS obviously, as Michele got DRS. No, he has not. So Michele has dropped out of DRS range from the top 3. This will help Simoncic maybe a little bit to get past, but he needs to be a bit closer, of course. Those guys are being followed by the Origin cars, Jumbo Bassi and Kuba Brzezinski. Brzezinski also trying to put a bit of pressure on his teammate. maybe they can capitalize on the battle which is going on ahead of them between Simoncic and Michele D'Alessandro.
Yeah, indeed, and the dirty air definitely into the Thielke corner, the fast right-hander in sector 3. Definitely showing Journey Simoncic instantly losing well over a car's length to Michele D'Alessandro. And well, it seems like he is faster, but you know, passing is a completely different thing. And that useless DRS zone after turn 1 of, at the main straight is not really helping as well. Peter Briljak there took the lead of this race for about a second. It showed on my screen at least, but who knows? Weird. Anyway, not on track it seems. Danny van der Niet puts himself into P13. What happened there into turn 1?
Yeah, quite a big of a scrap between all of these guys pretty much. They were fighting last lap as well, down the back straight. It's a nice battle which is going on, but Danny van der Niet pulls the long string.
But just a nice overtaking maneuver from van der Niet on Kweekel. Good for him. And in front of those guys, in front of I believe Partington, it's sadly Kostadinov and Johnny Simon. Oh wait, Peter Briljak is into the lead of this race. What happened there? What happened there? Huh? Patel just lets him go, it seems?
Patel had a poor run.
He made a little bit of a mistake, opened the door and already saw Briljak alongside him. Well, that's...
No. Patel lifted. On the exit. Short shifting up to 3rd gear. Watch
really
the replay.
Weird.
Watch the replay and the throttle input. He's at about 70% throttle input. Short shifts, then Briljak comes alongside and he's back on it.
Well, we have heard that Peter Briljak told us in the interview that there were no team orders whatsoever during the entirety of this season, and I don't think that's the case in this race as well. Definitely not when Briljak has the championship secured and in his pocket. But yeah, nevertheless, a little bit of an obnoxious move there. Maybe it was just that little bit of a mistake. Danny van der Niet now fighting with Martin Hodas all over the place. Danny van der Niet still alongside him, but is having the outside line here and has no other choice than to lift. Good move from Hodas though, clean fighting.
Well, Simoncic this time got a nice run on Michele D'Alessandro. D'Alessandro losing out quite a bit on the lead. Gap is 3 seconds. Here comes Simoncic though around the outside of turn 12. D'Alessandro having the inside line for this corner. What is Simoncic going to do? Tries to swing around the outside, but has to go the long way home and went deep into there. And a nice defensive move from D'Alessandro. Definitely laid on the brakes and managed to keep that position as Kuba Brzezinski jumped Jambo Lopassi as well. So Origin feels like giving Kuba maybe a chance at passing those guys in front of them.
Yeah, hopefully for him he's right, but it's gonna be a hell of a job to actually do that. I do have to say that especially in sector 3, the driver in front here is definitely having a clean air advantage over the guy chasing one. I mean, dirty air here, it's not as bad as it was early season, but you know, it's still having a huge effect. So Briljak comfortably leading at the moment with almost a second to spare to Patel. And Vigazzi trying to follow those two fast bastards every inch of the way. And at the moment he's doing so quite outstanding, to be honest.
Yeah, he's doing very well at the moment. He's definitely well within the RS range of Patel. Doesn't let them go easily. Although having said that, Patel is now obviously a little bit of the rear gunner from Briljak, obviously, who was leading and creating a gap immediately after one lap straight away. So Vigazzi, if he could get past Patel, it would be amazing, but it's obviously much easier said than done. But it's nice for Twist to have those two cars at the front, able to control the race at the moment. As Step Patel, maybe a bit of the rear gunner from Briljak. That's exactly what they want. As I said, it's nice for them to have those two cars leading.
Definitely is, and Bugatti is seeming to, forced to let a little bit of a gap disappear now. Still 6/10 away from Patel, but it's just these last couple of sectors that cost him 1 or 2 tenths. Still has the DRS though. I mean, there's a clear gap between Bugatti and Michele D'Alessandro from with about 3.5 seconds to spare. Actually 4 seconds now. Wow. Simonci is now really knocking at the door of D'Alessandro, and Kuba Brzezinski is trying ever so hard to follow Simonci, but seems like he does not have the sheer race pace that Simonci has for the time being though. I mean, I can imagine some drivers being a little bit more orientated in terms of pace and setup in the middle stint and later stints of this race. I mean, you can have a car that's brilliantly under high fuel and has a lot of steering in and whatsoever, but if that just translates into a lot of oversteer into corners when your fuel tank is getting empty, you're not going to get anywhere. So these drivers are really, well, edging out to get the average, best possible time. And maybe for some drivers the end is of the best is safe for the last stint. Maybe for some drivers it's the other way around. But nevertheless, the race is still long. We've just crossed 1/10 of a distance, so. Norbert Leitner running strong in P8 at the moment. That would be a really nice result for fast event speed. But like I said, the race is long. Anything can happen and anything will happen, I guarantee you. Unfortunately, no safety car, and by the looks of it, no rain as well. Clear blue skies.
Ooh, and here goes Simoncic on the inside of Michele D'Alessandro into one. Alessandro having a better run though out of the exit, of the corner. Better traction there for the twister car, but Simoncic is having enough. He's opening up the attack even more on Alessandro, really close behind him through this first sector, but then obviously picks up a little bit of the dirt here as well. As you said, Chris, he is knocking at that door. But is D'Alessandro going to snap, or can Simoncic deliver something extra, something special? He needs to do it because he's losing time to the top 3 every single lap. He stays behind D'Alessandro, of course. This is maybe a good chance. Oh, gets a big oversteer moment there on the exit of turn 12. Hampers his speed a little bit down this back straight, and I think thanks to that he's a little bit too far back this time round as well to make a move stick.
But you never know it you never know it for sure with these darn Go Speed cars. It looked like really promising in terms of top speed in the last couple of Grand Prix. Jeroen Simoncic tries to make a mistake happen in the camp of the Alessandro, but he has been in front of harder fires, it seems. We have seen Ragusa right on this moment right here making a mistake which decided the race win with a brilliant pressurization from Rens Klopp, have to say. Which forced the mistake of Ragusa, because Ragusa is not from yesterday as well. Alessandro is going into the pit though, the first guy out of the top 10 to go into the pit. We have seen a lot of, and everyone is following it seems. Kuba Brzezinski, Sam Bullock-Bassi, Norbert Leitner, they are all into the pit. So interesting strategies here. We've just seen like 4 or 5 guys in the pits as well last lap around. Martin Hodas, George Winter, all going into the pit for their first pit stop there. So. Here he goes back on track. Norbert Leitner is. But the rest in front of him is already back on track. Michele D'Alessandro has chosen to go back onto the soft compound tires. Option compound tires for this weekend. Option and the option is the soft tire, and the prime compound tire is the medium. And really nice tire choice for this weekend. Sector 1 is really demanding. Sector 3 is as well. And with a little bit more consistency being expected from the medium compound, it's it's nice to stay in the middle there. Really hate the hard compound tire here. Interesting development in real Formula 1, where I believe in next year there's still a debate going on whether you can choose any compound at all. You know, from super softs to hards.
Oh right, yeah.
That would be really nice as well. The leaders of the race are in the pit. Prix, Patel, Bigazzi, they are all in. And it seems like Bigazzi has won and gained a little bit of time over Patel. But that can only be the look of it. But it seems like he's a little bit closer to him. And Patel has lost a little bit of time over Brilliant.
When look at this, a big stop here for P. What is it? It is P4 with D'Alessandro, Severly and Brzezinski. Severly coming right in between D'Alessandro and Brzezinski. He is obviously on the medium tire and almost loses it there. Brzezinski here
on the
right
inside.
the outside. For the
And
next
this
corner.
is for Brzezinski. Now outside becomes the inside and Severly is done. He's on the medium compound, Brzezinski on the soft compound. And the confidence that Brzezinski showed just doesn't leave any opportunity for Severly to make way. He instantly gets passed by Journey Simonsis, and he now gets passed by Sam Boulik-Bassi, so he loses 4 places in 4 corners. Epic driving there from these guys, and one mistake is all that it takes apparently for these guys to punish it off.
Especially through a section like when you lose a little bit of time through one corner, you're pretty much being compromised through the next ones as well. They all opened up the attack, saw gaps, and definitely went for it.
Sadly now with his pit light on, 10 laps done on the medium compound and about to be lap 11. So it's well time for him to put a fresh set of rubber on his tires, on his ribs. When he goes into the pit, he will drop down quite dramatically. That's to be expected. So Brilliak now 3.1 seconds on the lead. After that, you know, tiny but surely a tiny mistake of Patel there. And Brilliak didn't took any prisoners there. He just parked his car along the inside and was like, okay, adios, I'm done, bye, see you later, alligator. And it doesn't seem that Patel has an answer at the moment. Definitely in qualify, I mean, he had the pole position, but in the race pace it seems like 1 or 2 tenths a sector separating Brilliak once he's into clean air.
Yeah, Brilliak is at the moment about 6 tenths quicker than his teammate even, so that says a lot, of course. Brilliak is definitely pushing here, opening up the gap even more.
Mike,
and we have a retirement!
Damage. What happened there with Mike as we go on board with him? Ooh, he lost the car on the exit, on top of the hill, lost his rear wing, and was like, okay, I am done! So unfortunately for Mike, he will become the first DNF of this race. And fortunately for others, it will open doors. And Danny van der Niet here with a pure dive bomb here for P13 onto Thomas Satterley. And Thomas Satterley is almost stationary in that corner. He was like, are you serious, Danny van der Niet? And then he was like, yeah, you opened the door there. So Danny just dived in there, really optimistic, but you know, nothing Thomas could do there. Nice move from Van der Niet. Oh, Alexi Kivala has actually become the first DNF there. He was into the pit and just parked his car right there. Okay. Pressing escalate, it seems. So Francesco Bigazzi now 1.2 seconds behind Mohamed Patel, who on his term is 3.7 seconds behind Peter Brilliard, and that gap is only going to increase, I am afraid, for Patel and Bigazzi. But maybe Bigazzi can do a nice job by scoring a podium here, and maybe even a second place. I mean, beating Patel would already feel a little bit like a victory. Of course, as a real racing driver, you are never satisfied with P2. You're the first of the losers. But nevertheless, I mean, if you're really realistic, then you know sometimes it's the maximum achievement of the day. And it seems like Peter Biljak is going unstoppable here.
He is once again unstoppable. You have to say it. I mean,
Where's
6 tenths
Michele
quicker per lap.
when you need him?
or Riera.
Yeah, Riera, also a nice driver. I think those drivers are not WC material, but there's a reason why they aren't driving here right now. And the top cross
contact between Van der Niet and Severly. Sorry to up to you, Chris, as Severly has lost his rear wing, as there also been Saxon was in influence there as well. Severly going for the inside. There was no room over there, and just Saxon collecting Severly there.
Oh my god!
Saxon could have done. So we have another retirement.
That was a really stupid move of Sadly. I don't care if it's a Netflix that he crashes into. That was just retarded right there. First time in this season I used that word in WC, but there wasn't any gap. He was just hoping that Danny van der Niet would brake and let him through or something. I don't know. Or do you see it differently?
No.
Really weird move from Sadly. Maybe a little bit of desperation there, but definitely not the right move to make. Hopefully for Saxon he can reasonably continue on his way, but because he didn't deserve this. Same for Danny van der Niet, who is currently in P12. Hopefully for him as well he didn't sustain any damage whatsoever. Back to the leading pack of this race. It seems like Mohammed Patel is having himself a little bit of company in the name of Francesco Bigazzi, who is only 7.5 tenths behind Patel here. So still in DRS range, still in striking range here. But it seems like Peter Biljak is gone with 4.2 seconds of a lead.
So a bit of a battle for fifth at the moment. Kuba Brzezinski being on the soft tires. Is being chased by a Journey Simon-Kids. In the meantime, Michele and Alessandro in fact opened up the gap. So where they were battling quite hard before with Michele, it's now up to about 2.5 seconds to Kuba Brzezinski. And as I said, he's being pressured by a Simon-Kids who is actually driving on the harder compound of the two. So this will be nice for Simon-Kids, but obviously he cannot get past Kuba Brzezinski at the moment. And that is hampering him a little bit, of course. But good news for him is that he is on the harder tire and able to keep up with Brzezinski at the moment. And Michele will be happy that he doesn't have a big train of cars behind him in his mirrors again. Gives him a little bit of confidence again after he had them behind him for the whole first stint.
And a top 5 position, finish position then for the Alessandro is definitely a good result. I mean, he by far isn't able to win a race this season, or he hasn't been able. But still a fast driver, and P4 maybe if someone in front of him crashes out or DCs or blows an engine like Patel, don't mean anything by it, but it can happen. Then he will be like the Sergio Perez of WC by getting a victory handed of a podium handed to him. However, the race is just 25% long of gone, and we still have 75% distance to still cover. So anything can happen here. Different kind of strategies, different kind of tires in different stints. Anything can happen. So let's see here. Thomas Sadly obviously retired, but fortunately he is the only retirement after that accident. Jon-Erik Saxon is able to continue his way, and so is Danny van der Niet, who's driving in no man's land in P12 at the moment. 5 seconds in front of him Martin Hoders is driving, and 7 seconds behind him this Jon-Erik Saxon. So Norbert Leitner in P8 driving for faster than speed. He's really doing a nice consistent job here, and a top 10 position would definitely be favorable for his sake. Nevertheless, Mike Partington, in my opinion, still the P2 finisher of Singapore, did not do it this time around. And he had to postpone his battle for points after lap 11. Well, it seems like the difference between Brilliak and Patel is a little bit stabilized here. 4.4 seconds being the difference, and Francesco Bidassi is now without DRS. He is out of DRS range from Patel, so Patel might have decided to, you know, kick it up a notch and just go that extra 1 or 2 tenths faster.
And look at the battle for P5. Go ahead.
Look at
P5. For P5, side by side going into turn 1. Simocic and Brzezinski. Ooh, Simocic nicely around the outside, but Brzezinski knows how to defend there. It was a chance for Simocic though. Brzezinski didn't have the exit out of the final corner which he wanted. It was pretty much a big chance for him. Fortunately for him, couldn't take it either. That was one of those moments where he maybe could have capitalized, but not a lot else he could do there. As Brzezinski at the inside line, and Simocic making a bit of a mistake there, having now Jembo or Bassi all behind him.
Indeed.
All over him, I should say.
Now we should be worried about Bulik Bassi trying to make a move in. And why shouldn't he be? I mean, they both have DRS now, Simocic and Bulik Bassi, but who will have the better top speed? Are you already sharing setups with Origin?
No. No.
That's a wise thing to say on the broadcast, indeed.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
No, but now the difference into top speed is definitely looking in favor for Journey Simocic. No way Bulik Bassi could have made it overtaking maneuver stick there, and he's looking a little bit twitchy on his tires.
Ooh, Simocic struggling a little bit more. Once again, he's got Bulik Bassi all over him. He needs to find the consistency back again, which he really had before. Few mistakes from Simocic during this lap. I'm sure he'll get back to it though. But instantly you can see he loses a couple of car lengths to Kuba Brzezinski, where he was alongside him at this stage in the previous lap. He's now well further back, of course. Michele Alessandro still in front of that, of course, nicely driving. Yeah, currently on his own. I mean, 3 seconds in front of this group, and about, what is it? About 6 seconds, 5 seconds with Bigazzi, of course. Bigazzi definitely dropping now behind Patel. Gap is about 2 seconds. Patel is actually coming up to pace a little bit, although I would say that Brilliak is just trying to manage that gap to Brilliak, which he has got. The gap about 4.2 seconds, whereas you said it before it was about 4.4. So this, it's definitely stabilizing right now.
Yeah, definitely, and Bigazzi is having the trouble you talked about of hanging on to Patel, who just kicks it up another notch, it seems. Doesn't want to lose Peter Brilliak out of sight, it seems, but yeah. The Alessandro is still driving steadily in P4, but he has to make sure that he isn't falling victim to Kyoba Brzezinski, who is well, still almost 3.5 seconds away from him. But still, I mean, he can't slack off a bit. He has to fight every inch of the way here like it should be. Sam Bulik Bassi is going into the pit right now for a new fresh set of tires, and I am curious to see who is following him. Well, from the front runners, obviously nobody, because he's the first guy into the pit for a second time. Goes on to the medium compound tires after 18 laps.
Then you would expect Kuba Brzezinski to come in right about this lap as well. Unless he wants Jembo Bassi to jump him again. Although they are both from the same team, so it wouldn't matter that much. Although, having said that, I don't see a pit light in for Kuba Brzezinski yet, but obviously he's got a long lap to go still. Not as long as Spa, of course. It's definitely one of the longest tracks on the whole calendar, if not the longest. It's probably the longest. Let's see what Brzezinski does then. Now he stays out. Having said that, he pressed his pit in light down the back straight, so we'll see Kuba Brzezinski coming in as well. Simulchange will be released in clean air then, and obviously will follow in a couple of laps later as he is on the medium moment. And let's see whether Jem Bolek-Bassi is able to make the undercut work on his teammate there. So, see whether he is able to jump him. I think Bolek-Bassi has clean air. Yeah, he's in relatively clean air. In front of him it's Kostadinov about 1 second up the road. So he pretty much made use of the clean air, I'm sure. But is it enough to get past Brzezinski? So Brzezinski into the pit lane then, same for Michele D'Alessandro. This is a battle obviously which may unfold later in the race as well.
They are obviously following Sam Bolek-Bassi here, who made the first call to go into the pits. And then maybe the tires have been shredded as well. Michele is going out of the pits once more, and well in front of Bolek-Bassi, so is Brzezinski. But Simon here almost alongside Brzezinski, but manages to get the edge done and take P6 at the moment. Gonna need into the pits as well.
Pit stop for him, soft tire for him as well as he rejoins the track in P14 in front of George Winter, who runs up our 15 car grid at the moment. 3 retirements obviously as we have entered lap 20 of the race. We'll see what these guys can do. Jem Bolek-Bassi rather close behind Kostadinov. Kuba Brzezinski in front of him, rather close to Johnny Simon as well. First of all, we'll have a look at Kuba Brzezinski. What can he do? DRS wide open, down his back straight. Simon doesn't even bother defending, so it should be an easy peasy move for Kuba Brzezinski down the inside, which it is indeed. And Jem Bolek-Bassi in the background can't pass Kostadinov as well. A double overtake for OFR. They'll be happy with that as the leaders are in the pit.
Indeed, well said. Brilliak and Patel are in the pits, which allows Francesco Bigazzi to, well, drive at least a nice lap onto the lead of this race. We are in lap 21 at the moment, with 20 laps being done. But this is obviously not going to last, and I'm gonna tell it even better. Bigazzi is gonna lose a lot of time now by staying out longer than a few laps. I mean, he could basically answer instantaneously by going into the pit as well and just getting it over with, but you know, he might choose to go a little bit longer as well and maybe catch the Twisters out on a different strategy. But yeah, if he's gonna settle in for a podium position, you will see his pit light come on any minute now, and he will just go into the pit and follow the strategy of Brilliak and Patel. And he is going into the pit, it seems. So Brilliak and both Patel are on the soft compound tire.
Simon is now in front of Jem Bolek-Bassi, of course. Simon being in front of Brzezinski. This and for Brzezinski, for Bolek-Bassi to make a pass, and it's gonna be in the same fashion as Brzezinski did it in. Easy peasy down the inside, and that is 6th position for Kuba and 7 for close to each other for the Argentine. And Bigazzi is in the pit lane as well. Here we go.
Go back onto softs again. But will he be able to exit out in front of Patel? I don't think he will. Would be an amazing achievement. But indeed he won't. And he will slot in back where he belongs at the moment, and that is P4. Journey Simicic, who is still on his second stint of tires, who are at the moment 12-13 laps old. But they are medium, and therefore he has every right to defend his racing line. Mohamed Patel still is second shy of him. Maybe this allows Bigazzi on his fresh set of soft tires to catch up a little bit. Wouldn't say instantaneously that Patel is stuck behind Simicic, but you know, he's not gaining any time like this. I mean, Simicic on the medium compound, Patel on the soft compound. Well, at this level that's definitely 4 or 5 tenths a lap. So therefore you could say that No, Simoncic is holding Patel's pace up a little bit. Patel can overtake now. Simoncic is not defending any bit whatsoever. Just really tactical decision there from Simoncic. This doesn't want to lose any amount of time to the faster of the two. He recognizes that and he lets Patel go. And he finds himself now still into P3 on all tires. Any lap now, Simoncic will go to the pit, I'm sure. And he already has his pit light on.
Here we go. Simoncic indeed coming into the pit lane. Nice pit entry there, no issues whatsoever. We haven't seen a single crash in the pit lane during the whole weekend, which is very nice. It is somewhat of a tricky pit entry sometimes when you are a bit too hot going into there. But we haven't seen that this weekend, as I said before. Simoncic on the soft tire, no major surprises there. He's obviously going to rejoin behind that OFR train. And I wanted to say maybe even behind his teammate Simon. But having said that, Simon is in the pit lane himself as well. And also soft tires for him then. So both OFR drivers now, Origin Front Row Racing, the medium tire. They are going to get changed this stint for sure by Simoncic, who is on the soft tire. I'll keep an eye out on that gap. The gap is currently about 5 seconds, a little bit less than that. And Simoncic should be able to close them down lap by a couple of tenths. Patel, in the meantime, the gap between him and Brilliak, the leader of this race, is 5.4 seconds. So that gap once again has increased slightly by a second or so in the last couple of laps. And on the fresher tires, seems like Brilliak is doing an awesome job the whole time on the fresher tires, able to pull away slightly from his teammate. And then towards the end of the stint, Patel seems to have the not really the edge, but at least the gap is then leveling off a little bit, stabilizing.
Yeah. And two teammates that are working together brilliantly at the moment, Kiewer Brzezinski and Sam Bulik-Bassi, are trying to, get closer to Michele Di Alessandro, which is a big task. I mean, it's still 4 seconds in between them, but nevertheless, in 20-30 laps time, I mean, anything is possible with 1 or 2 tenths a lap. That's the beauty of racing as well. But yeah, for the moment they are working brilliantly together, and Jeroen Simoncic after his pit stop finds himself behind Sam Bulik-Bassi with only 3.5 seconds to spare, 3.8.
At 24 out of 56 of this race. Not even halfway yet. Brilliak then is leading, as we said before. But the battle is pretty much on for P4, although Alessandro in a league of his own, having a really solid race so far. And he's being followed by Brzezinski. We know that is the place to look at most likely for that top 5. That's where the majority of the battling has been going on. Not really head-to-head battling, but definitely strategically there's been a battle going on over there, with Simoncic going to join this pack quite soon, I would say. You can see him already in the background, getting closer and closer, obviously, lap after lap, as Simoncic is setting purple sector times. No surprises there, of course. But the Alessandro, I have to give props to this guy. I mean, driving really solid so far. Haven't seen any weird things from him. Just having steady and good pace, about half a second quicker than the guys behind him. Obviously the OFR guys, they are on the medium, however, while he is on the soft. I don't think Alessandro has done a medium stint so far, which is, I think, indeed the case. So he's yet to go on the medium, but he's looking rather strong so far, stable as I said.
Indeed, well said there, Jeroen. And at the moment the pack is edging out a little bit, definitely in the midfield. Johnny Simon is currently occupying P10, where in Austria this year he was so dominating for a race victory here, there. And to be honest, in the middle part of the season, I think he was the fastest guy on track, Johnny Simon. But then don't know what happened, but maybe the twisters and the guys in front of them just kicked it up another notch or whatever. But I mean, seeing his pace earlier season, I would have definitely said he would win a race later this year. Fortunately for GoSpeed, they have had their WC win by the names of you, Jeroen. But yeah.
Yeah, you can say that it's not the way they, the season hasn't gone the way they would have liked. That's for sure. Simon was rather close in Austria, but hey, we know all what happened there with the back marker, cutting him off and then crashing yourself out while being in the lead of the race and looking really strong. But that's things which sometimes happen, and as a driver you only learn from it, and you need to take that experience with you into the next couple of races. So what is Simocic doing? At the moment about 1.3 seconds per lap quicker than the OFR guys in front of him. Obviously he will hit the back of Jan Bolek-Bassi most likely first. We'll see whether he is able to get past. That's another thing, of course. Chris said it before. Catching up is one thing, but overtaking is another. We'll have a look at this battle though, that's for sure. And Simocic going really wide, actually running off track in turn 19, the penultimate corner that is though. That shows that this guy is definitely pushing at the moment. Not within DRS range, but he's getting rather close to it on the back of Bolek-Bassi, his car. Bolek-Bassi, of course, what a talent he is as well. His first couple of races in Ace were already rather impressive, and now he finds himself in WC driving in 6, but a talent for the future, that's for sure. So Peter Briojak 5.6 seconds ahead of Patel. That gap just keeps increasing and increasing. And Bigazzi at this stage isn't able to show what he was able to show before. The gap between them is about 3 seconds the whole time. And well, before obviously in the previous stints, Bigazzi was able to somewhat get close to them, and even was within DRS of Patel. But Patel has kicked it up a notch. Well, Bigazzi hasn't been able to really do that. Alessandro 15 seconds all behind behind the leaders. And no major battles going on at the moment. There's a big battle though, as I said, for at least P5, maybe even P4 with Alessandro when he is going on the medium tire. There's definitely some kind of strategic battle which is going to transform into a head-to-head battle right about now, I would say, because Simocic has reached the back of Jan Bolek-Bassi. Here we go. Definitely too far back at the moment, but Bolek-Bassi will know that there is that Ghost Speed car behind him, which is knocking at the door. He's on the soft tire as well, having the advantage. Through the first sector, beautiful couple of corners, very flowing, very quick. You want to have a lot of downforce on the car for there, and also at the same time the long back straight requires a low downforce setup, so it's interesting to see what those drivers are doing and what the teams are doing in terms of setup. In the meantime, Simocic really close on the back of Bolek-Bassi, even having a look, but by doing so he compromises his third 11, and so the exit of third 11 as well, leading him onto this long back straight. And it only cost him time having the look on the inside there. Nonetheless, so he picks up the DRS, and is he close enough to make a move? Bolek-Bassi goes defensive for turn 20. He's gonna have to do it around the outside, brakes rather late. Bit of contact made between the two, and Bolek-Bassi pulling along the longest string, but Simocic having the inside here. Keep it together, or keep it clean, guys. And they go side by side over here, but it does look like Simocic has that place. Yes, he does.
With great driving from the both of them.
Yep.
Just leaving each other enough space there for a ferocious battle to take place, and Jan Bolek-Bassi has to, bow at the moment for Simocic.
Exactly. So next up for Simocic is then obviously Kuba Brzezinski. And Simocic is having rather good pace though on these soft tires, that's for sure. Obviously the advantage is with him on those option tires, while he's battling people who are on the harder compound. At least he is battling those OFR drivers.
At the moment it's David O'Reilly overtaking Chris de Jong into the commentary. I'm just gonna lie down. I'm having trouble with a little bit of a headache here and dizziness, so hopefully you'll get the same enjoyment as you get with David O'Reilly, and I'm sure you will. So see you later for now, and see you in 3 weeks, but enjoy the remainder of this race.
Hey, thanks Chris, get well soon mate.
Bye.
there, Jeroen. I'll do my best. I'm just coming into the server now. Do my best.
Hi,
to
David.
help
Welcome.
out.
Welcome. Have you watched the broadcast, by the way, David?
Yes, I have.
Okay, very good. Well, a warm welcome to David O'Reilly. Chris has said it. Being a bit of a headache. Luckily, we have David O'Reilly though in the commentary booth to replace him. So what is Simulchich then able to do? Obviously his pace is somewhat leveling off at the moment. Those tires are starting to degrade a little bit more, while Kuba Brzezinski is kicking it up a notch himself as well. Polak Bassi not really able to follow it at the moment. This is where Kuba Brzezinski is really quick at this stage. On the prime tire, yes, that's for sure. But compared to his teammate Polak Bassi gaining a couple of seconds over the last couple of laps, Polak Bassi maybe even making a mistake or whatever. There was definitely something which cost him a bit of time. And is Simulchich within DRS range of Brzezinski? That is the question. I doubt he is. It doesn't look like it at the moment. No, definitely not. So Simulchich not having DRS yet. He's gonna have to wait for another lap or so, maybe even 2 laps. It all depends on how quickly he's going to catch Kuba.
Jeroen, I don't know about you, but I've had the feeling watching Simulchich this season that he seems to favour setting the car up with fairly low downforce. I mean, he's been mega quick, for example, at Monza and Austria. And I wonder if, as the stint evolves, if his tyre degradation is just that little bit greater and perhaps just losing the edge.
Oh, and Hodes is stationary. Sorry to interrupt you there. Hodes is stationary on the start-finish line. Wow, incredible stuff here. His engine is out as well. It's not running anymore, so he isn't even stationary. He's just standing there at the moment. And we know that Hodes couldn't press escape before in the formation lap, which caused the restart. Is there something similar going on over here?
What a shame for him. I guess he could be in a worse spot though. At least he's in the middle of the pit straight and easy to spot. I think exit at turn 1 would probably be the worst place he could be. Oh no, he's managed to escape, I think.
Yeah, he did. Well, I don't see him in the pit lane, so it must have been something like Alt F4, you would say.
Yeah.
But at least he's cleared.
He's hit the hyperspace button.
Exactly. At least he's cleared. And Simulchich is rather close to Brzezinski, now having DRS of course. But David, coming back to what you were saying, what was it exactly about Simulchich?
Well, I just got the feeling with Simulchich that he's had incredible pace last season as well, and this season in traditionally low downforce tracks like Canada, like Monza. I know he had some issues at Monza, but he had tremendous underlying pace. And I'm just wondering if he tends to set the car up a little bit lower downforce and have great top speed, but can be a little bit of a handful in the twisty sections, and somehow that can just stop you getting onto the back of him. Although, as I say that, he's right on the back of Brzezinski and getting that beautiful exit there from turn 10, I think it is, into the DRS zone. And I think Kuba's going to struggle to hold him off. Kuba will probably go left, join the apex, no, and he does exactly the opposite. Or this is going to be close. Very close.
Oh, Brzezinski holds it though nicely around the outside. He'll have the inside line for the next corner as well. Brzezinski fighting with everything he has got.
This is hard enough for it to do solo, let alone...
Exactly, yeah, these guys letting each other live. Very, very nice. Good driving from the both of them. Left each other just about enough room. And Brzezinski isn't done yet either. Very, very nice fighting spirit from the both of them, and very nice driving as well.
And as Chris was saying before, the dirty air is such a big factor in that 3 apex right-hander, which the viewers may or may not be aware, but it's a mirror image really of the famous turn 10 from Turkey, which everybody loves so much. The Austin, Texas tractors decided to transplant that here, but it's a mirror image, whereas the Turkey one is a left-hander. This is a 3 apex right-hander, and of course the Sector 1, which the guys are entering now, is really inspired by the Maggots-Beckett's complex from Silverstone. But I don't know, there just seems to be a lot more turns in this. It keeps going and going and going, and you get a bit dizzy going through this set of turns.
Yeah, definitely, and towards the end of your stint, it could come a tricky one as well in dirty air. I mean, sometimes it can generate a little bit of wheel spin and you get caught out by that. There is the possibility of that. Having said that, these guys are all top level drivers. And in the meantime, Michele D'Alessandro, by the way, pitted. He rejoined in P7. And is he on the medium tire this time? Yes, he is. So D'Alessandro going for the first time on that medium tire. And now he will start to lose time, most likely to the drivers who were behind. Obviously, he's still on fresh tires. But once they are going to pit, they are going to gain time on him. While D'Alessandro had about a 4 or 5 second lead to Brzezinski it was. It's now obviously Simulchich. And the leader of the race is in the pit lane as well.
And the medium tyre just takes a little bit of looking after on the outlap, in my view. When you come into the really tricky parts, such as the 3 apex right-hander where D'Alessandro is about to approach now, on your outlap you just can't absolutely pin it like you might do once the tyres are fully in. Although having said that, Michele was very confident through there on that tyre, looking a little bit wide on the exit.
Jumbo Lubassi in as well for the Origin Front Row Racing guys. He's most likely going to go for the soft tire indeed. So trying to do another undercut is Jumbo Lubassi. Maybe it will work. We saw it in the last hit as well, where Jem pitted first and then Kuba came in. I think Kuba is going to come in fact on this lap. He's got his pit in light on. So let's see what Simulchich is going to do. Is he going to stay out again? If he does so, it's most likely going to get by both of them, just like previous stint. Or has he learned from that and is he going to pit in this lap as well? That's the question. His pit in light is on, so you would expect him.
Did you say Simulchich's pit light is on?
Yeah.
Not showing in the cockpit for me.
Yeah, both Simulchich and Kuba Brzezinski have their pit light on at the moment.
So I guess this is the most intriguing battle really, the Simulchich, Brzezinski and Bulapassi really.
Yeah. Yeah, and what's the nice thing is that D'Alessandro get influence in this one as well. But they do need a lot of pace for that, to be honest. As Bigazzi is in as well. They need a lot of pace for that because D'Alessandro was about 5 seconds up the road when he pitted. He's only going to gain more time right now, obviously. He had fresher tires. Although having said that, these guys are now coming into the pit lane, so now the momentum will be in their favor. Let's see what the gap is to D'Alessandro as soon as they exit the pit. I'm pretty sure it's going to be about 6-7 seconds, maybe even more. And it's up to them to close it down while D'Alessandro is on that medium tire. And Winter is another retirement. We've got 5 retirements, George Winter being the 5th one, and all the pit stops were clean as it looks like. What happened to George Winter though?
Looks like suspension damage in the indicator. And beautiful white plane, this one, and but of course this was the site in the final race last season of Morgan Morand losing his championship battle. He'd really taken it
we
to
all remember that.
Bono
yeah.
House for the whole season and really came out of the box flying at the start of last season, and Morgan done a tremendous amount of practice in the new simulation in rFactor 2 and seemed to have an edge on the other guys in terms of his knowledge and affinity with the car and with the sim and with the mod, and really was very, very dominant, and it was his to lose really when he came into the Circuit of the Americas, and it just going in you would have bet the house on it. I think he only had to come 4th, take the title, but he did a double tap on his limiter and got a drive through, came 5th, and Bono House won the season by the skin of his teeth, and then no one would have placed money on that a couple of weeks before.
Definitely not. Remarkable ending to the championship last year. I mean, no such drama over here, of course, with Prix taking it already, and very well deserved as well. I'm sure you will agree, David.
Oh, look, he has, majestic, really. Not wanting to reach too far into the hyperbole draw, but in a season where, and a lot of our keen viewers have followed this series for years now. But I'll just go on record saying that, the naysayers who might say, oh, well, Bono House left and it wasn't the same, or Morgan Morand left and it wasn't the same. Morgan's a very, very fine racer, but he's raced twice, and his best result was 4th in Malaysia. So these guys are quick, and they beat Morgan in a fair fight. So the standard is certainly not lower. And in terms of previous seasons, where really there was a lot of domination by Bono, and he's a stunning driver, and many regard him as the finest sim racer of recent years. But there were seasons where one guy would dominate, or two guys would slug it out. And we've had 7 race winners, which has got to be far more exciting when you approach a weekend and you just do not know what's going to happen.
Good point.
So for my money, that's a much more exciting spec to switch on the stream and just you don't know who's going to win. And it seems to me that in certain tracks we've had certain things dominate. Chris was mentioning earlier that the Ghost Speed guys had a real strong run there in the middle of the season in Austria, Monza. They were very quick. Also Hockenheim. And that's where Simon was on pole, but the race setup didn't seem quite that good, and he went backwards. But they've had a real burst of speed on certain tracks, and then we've had the Origin front row guys have a burst of speed on certain tracks, and then of course Twister were there all season long. So it almost seems like the teams have had just a little bit of strength in different areas of the car's preparation, and you'll generally see them going 2 by 2, like we are at the moment. We've got the 2 Twister cars at the front. We got the 2 Origin front row guys in 6th and 7th, and were it not for Johnny's mishap in the opening laps, he would probably be there 2 by 2 with Simoncic.
Yeah, you know what, David? People come and people go. It's just the way it is. And back to that Huis and Morand thing. When people leave, there are always others, obviously, to step up. I mean, we've got some fantastic talents here in this league. I mean, this year we have seen Bolok Basi entering. I mean, what a talent this is for the future as well, alongside plenty of others, in my opinion, as well. So.
Yes.
It's just the way it is, and in every era, I think there's always someone who's going to step up and be some kind of legend.
Yep, 100%. And to Briac, and it was a nice interview earlier, but for anyone who's not aware, Peter is really becoming a bit of a legend. He started in 2011 in Pro. In 2012, he was the Pro champion. 2013, he went to Ace, and he was the Ace champion. 2014, went into World Championship and was 5th. And in 2015, sealed the title with 2 races to go. And so he's got the complete set. Pro champion, Ace champion, World Drivers champion, an amazing performance. Bula Bossi, who you've just mentioned, he's currently negotiating for a real world open wheeler drive for next season. I won't go into details because it's confidential as to where and what formula, but he's in negotiation with a real world open wheeler team for a drive next season in Europe.
So what's Simoncic doing though? Coming back to the race, D'Alessandro obviously on the medium tire. The gap between Simoncic and D'Alessandro is 7.3 seconds, and Simoncic is gaining by about 4/10 per lap. He definitely needs a little bit more if he wants to catch D'Alessandro. But we'll see. I mean, lap 36 out of 56, 20 to 21 laps to go. In the majority of the field here then going for a 4-stop, which was what we already foresaw. But what a magical drive it is once again from Briorek. I mean, I have no other words for it. Absolutely magical, 8.7 seconds in front of his teammate Patel at the moment. And no disrespect to Patel, but Briorek is showing here who is boss at the moment and why he deserves this championship so much.
Indeed, and he hasn't taken the foot off the gas, but he's won the title, has he?
No, definitely not.
8 seconds here. Bigazzi's a run of form has continued, hasn't it? I mean, he's a driver who took his maiden win, I think it was Singapore, Jeroen, if my memory serves me correctly.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And having shown mighty qualifying pace, it was Canada where he's just stunned the field with his qualifying pace. I think it was in Quali 1, where there was a group of about 7 drivers occupying 0.15 of a second, and then Bigazzi 0.8 of a second quicker than all of them. Quite incredible performance, and I think that was really the curtain raiser that told us that there were good things going to be coming soon from this guy.
Definitely, well said. Yeah, and he's applying once again a bit of pressure to Patel, where I said earlier that Bigazzi was losing it a little bit, which he indeed was. He in the meantime closed up the gap quite a bit to Mohammed Patel. Is he within DRS? Yes, he is indeed. So even has got DRS and sneaks it off Patel nicely. Definitely not close enough to Patel at the moment, but maybe he can do something a little bit later into the stint. Remember that Bigazzi is as well on the soft tire, while both twisters are at the moment on the medium, which is definitely playing into Bigazzi's favor a little bit. But if it is time for Bigazzi to do something, it is most likely now, while those guys are on the medium and he is on the soft. But the question is whether he's able to make a move stick.
Well, certainly one thing Bigazzi does very, very well is manage his tyres. I think his win in Singapore came when I think most drivers did a 4 or 5 stop, and he did a 3 stop. So we can certainly extract some lifetime out of his tyres. But of course, this is a very different track. This one, there's no sneaking around this track without spending some tyre wear. Really, it's just so turny and curvy. You've got to work your tyres if you want to have a decent lap time. Bigazzi gone purple in Sec 2 actually. So he means business.
Well, here we go then. Turn 11. Bigazzi putting the power down nicely. You can visually see the gap is just a little bit too much. And I doubt whether Bigazzi is going to do anything over here, although having said that, the air is wide open, he obviously gains a little bit, has a look on the inside, but must realize as well that that is a bit too much. Bigazzi just about revving out, so that 7th gear isn't a lot longer than that.
Bigazzi's tyres are 5 laps old, and Patel's tyres are 6 laps old, so both of them should be in pretty good shape. Bigazzi yet to use time, so next pit stop I think we'll be seeing Bigazzi jump onto the primes, and we may even see a bit of an undercut attempt from Bigazzi.
Definitely.
Because, well, he'll need to stop earlier, I guess, because he's got to go for primes, and he might as well tactically jump in a couple of laps before he thinks Bell is going to do it. And if he can get in front of him on track, he's got every chance of holding him off.
Ooh, through that first sector, look at that. Bigazzi just picking up that dirty air, a mouthful of dirty air, and immediately losing 1 or 2 car lengths to Patel. It's definitely a shame because he was rather close to Patel, but this first sector at the moment preventing Bigazzi to overtake Patel. There's a bit of a scrap going on between Van der Niet and Saxon as well. Saxon having a nice line through these couple of corners, trying to open up the on Danny Van der Niet. All for 12th place. 13 drivers remaining in this race as well, as we are in lap 39. And it seems like it's calming down a little bit with Van der Niet then in off and Saxon in 13th.
Would you say Johnny Simon got a little bit of damage in that first lap incident?
Tricky to say, it did look rather weird. He definitely has got damage though, because he has lost his front wing end plate on the right hand side of his front wing. So there is definitely some damage, whether it has a big extent to in terms of suspension. Maybe, I mean, he made quite a big jump, to be honest.
His best lap time's on the money, 1:37.6, and the quickest lap time so far is Bigazzi with a 1:37 flat. So it doesn't seem to be slowing him down too much.
Yeah, definitely not. He definitely has got the front wing end plate. He will feel it. It's not the worst thing ever either.
Now I wonder how far out Bigazzi can dive into the pits to go for this undercut. I mean, I think he could do it as early as lap 41.
Yeah, I think he could even do it now. I mean, 16 laps on the medium, why not? Not a lot of fuel remaining in the tank, of course. These guys are starting with over 200 liters, and it's well below 100 right now.
Yeah, exactly. About 3.8 per lap. So if we've got 17 to go, we'll just quickly that in the computer.
computer, use your hat. No.
65 litres.
Right.
So the car's light, and of course the other thing is real road. And for any viewers who
Oh, Patel, sorry,
oh, you've gone for it,
oh,
Jeff.
Yep, indeed.
Oh, lovely
Let's go
move,
for it.
side by side. Oh, Gutsy will have the inside for the next one. Oh, very intense.
Very
Beautiful
nice.
racing.
Very, very nice. Patel's not going to give up. Takes a different line over here, but it's hard to do anything after that section. And so Bugatti takes P2 with a nice move. Great racing from both of them, nicely leaving each other room.
Yeah, a lovely bit of close racing there, close quarter racing from two World Championship race winners from this season. So it's nothing less than we expect from drivers of this calibre. Now Bugatti is going to need to pull a tiny bit of a gap, in fact, because he's got to run a prime stint on his next stint. So he really needs to have a little bit of clear air between himself and Patel. That's not to say Patel won't opt to go for a prime as well. Patel might decide to cover him or even undercut him onto a prime stint himself, but Bugatti has to use the prime. Patel has already used the prime and so has a choice, tactical choice, whether he waits a bit longer for an option final stint or whether he dives in early for a prime final stint. I think if it was...
someone's off. Simon.
Simon off.
Penultimate corner. Simon has made a mistake. I bet it's the outside corner entry. I said it in Ace already. This is not going to be the first victim. And there we go. Simon being the third victim. We saw it in Pro as well earlier today. Simon being another victim of the outside curb of the penultimate corner. Turn 19. And he faced the wrong way there for a little while.
I reckon there should be a massive fine for whoever takes that little pole marking the apex of turn 1 as well, because once that's been knocked out, which is knocked out in the first couple of laps, it's so hard to spot the apex of turn 1 as you come up the hill. You sort of turn in and go, where is it, where is it?
Well said. You really need to reach out for the first corner, and that the bollard is just a mark for you, really. It's something which seems like it almost floats above the track as soon as you come up that hill. And that's your marker, but you know, as soon as it's taken out, the marker is gone. It's basically all instinctive. Anyway, the next pit stop phase should be about now. The pit stop window, I should say. Let's have a look. Who has got his pit light on? Nobody from the 3 at the moment. In fact, nobody on the whole track has got his pit light on. But I definitely think that it's going to come rather soon. Maybe even this lap already.
I think Bugatti is just outside DRS range as well this time round. He's just pulling a little bit of a tiny little bit of a gap, and if he can evade DRS, if he can avoid giving Patel DRS, although Patel's had a lovely second part of the second round, I think having said that he's going to have it. Yes, Patel still has DRS, he's got it wide open now. .319 kilometres an hour, but Gutsi's got a pretty quick car under him by the looks of that. He didn't really pull him in at any great measure. Brzezinski Simoncic still a 1 second gap.
Yeah, but Brzezinski has got his pit light on. He's most likely going to enter the pit this lap, I would say. And Simoncic hasn't got his pit light on at the moment. He does need to do it, I think, now. If he doesn't do it, he may get undercutted by Kuba Brzezinski. And he still hasn't got his pit light on.
Yeah, well, Brzezinski's done, this will be 10 laps on this set of options. Yeah, and he's pitting, yeah. Yeah, like you, I'll be very surprised if Brzezinski doesn't end up in front of him next time round.
Yeah, what was the gap, like 1.3, something like that, when he entered the pit?
Yeah, only a second.
So there we go, Volobassin as well, both Origin drivers in. Once again they go for the undercut, in particular Brzezinski of course. Simoncic is staying out. Is that the right thing to do though, is the question. We'll see at the end of this lap.
Well, Kuba's gone from a fair way out to take options. 15 laps to go.
Yeah, but you know,
But at this stage,
relatively.
as you said, fuel levels are low, and of course the
Exactly.
other thing that makes a massive difference is the rubber on the road.
Yep. Correct.
And in this simulation in rFactor 2, every lap that this grid of cars drives lays rubber down on the road, and it's not some sort of canned effect where the whole track gets grippier. Where the cars go, they leave a trail of rubber, just as in real world racing. So the lighter fuel load and the grippier rubber means that the tyres have got more innate grip with the track. That's not working as hard. The slip angle is not as high, but they don't get as much heat into them, and they will run cooler and run quicker and a lot longer. So it's not unusual to see probably 4-lap difference between what a set of options will do in the first stint and what a set of options will do in the final stint of the World Championship race.
So here we go then. Bigazzi in the pit lane. I'm sure SimRacing is going to follow this
Yeah,
lap as well.
SimRacing going in.
Exactly. Well, what did Kuba Brzezinski do? Brzezinski gained stance in the middle sector on this lap.
And he's pushing hard on his outlap. Big commitment.
Kuba Brzezinski coming round the final corner right
Oh,
about
this is gonna
now.
be so
He's in the
close.
final corner. And as you said, it's most likely going to be close. It is either going to be SimRacing or Brzezinski. Here we go. Brzezinski will get it, most likely. Yes, the momentum obviously going into turn 1. Oh, this is going to be a close one. Oh, nice. Nice battling between the two as they are side by side through the second as well. Who is going to lift off first? Nobody is. They are side still. Holy cow, as SimRacing gets it. But what a fantastic battle between those two drivers. I have never seen going side by side into there, ending up not in tears. I was seriously afraid that something would happen there. But amazing from both of them. Wow. I thought someone would at least and lift off, but they both didn't. So they entered that complex side by side. Unbelievable. Fantastic driving.
Yes, because it's flat 6th through the first few of those, and then 5th at the end, so it's mega quick. And I guess too, you need all the downforce, so if you did lift and drop behind, you're going to be immediately the second back, because you're going to have dirty air. The Kuba will have, of course, the rest on the pit straight.
I'm still waiting for the twisters to pit as well. It's quite an interesting one.
Yes, both of them running the same strategy, both running times. So, and I guess with the gap they've got, there's no need to do anything clever and go for an undercut, which
Sure.
Brzezinski, of course, has gone for. So
Yeah,
they'll
well,
probably-
but at the same time, of course, sorry to interrupt you, but Patel obviously is having that battle with Bigazzi, and Bigazzi is on the first tires at the moment, so only gaining time, I would say, on Patel.
Oh, okay, pardon me. Bigazzi's done his final stop.
Yep.
And there's only 15 seconds between them. Well, Bigazzi is going to be well in front of Patel when he pits. That's the fact of the matter.
Yeah, Bigazzi gained 9th in the middle sector on Patel.
Prix pitting.
Indeed, we've got the leader in the pit lane. 12 more laps to go in this race.
So he's going to, and Patel pitting as so they've both got a comfortable 12 laps to run, but Bigazzi is just about to round the final corner now, and once again it's going to be very, very close between these guys. Patel is still in his pit box. Bigazzi is heading up the pit straight. This is Bigazzi's all the way. Yep, Bigazzi's going to be 3 seconds, 4 seconds up the road when Patel filters back out.
I say game on, but you know, let's see what we can do.
Well, he's got pace, he's got some fresh options. Bigazzi is on primes, and let me just check when he goes on. Well, Bigazzi's primes are only 2 laps old, so they're both going to be having very good tyres. but Patel is going to have the edge on pace, of course, with those options. But Bugazzi's a quick guy in clear air, so this will become a very, very exciting battle for second place in this race, Jeroen, as it unfolds.
Alessandro still silent, or quietly I should say, in fourth as well. But definitely having a solid race. I mean, definitely nice for him. He has shown the potential, but it's nice to see it coming out as well. About 3 seconds up the road from SimRacing, and I don't see anything weird happening over there in the sense that I see some positions swapping for at least between Alessandro and SimRacing. Having said that, SimRacing is under pressure from Kuba Brzezinski, of course, the Polish driver. And this is a battle which may switch things up a little bit as well. Bassi is out of the picture for this battle, that's for sure. He dropped off quite a long way. In fact, he's 10 seconds behind his teammate, while he was right at the back of this battle before, of course.
Yeah,
and Peter,
seems to be saying well within DRS range, which of course just puts extra pressure on Simicic, and perhaps counters some of the tyre wear, because Brzezinski in the dirty air is going to be getting that little bit more tyre wear, but by getting a double dose of DRS each lap, he can just rest the car that little bit and not take any extra big chances and overdo it.
Well, fact is that Brzezinski just loses out a bit too much on that first sector, having an eye on it as well. Over this lap, it's just too much dirty air for Brzezinski. He's usually really quick through turn 1, gains a couple of tenths of SimRacing, but then where the quick flowing section starts is where he gets the mouth full of dirty air. And look at this, down the back straight, just well, definitely too far back. He's gonna have a look, I can tell you that, and he did, but it's more or less to scare SimRacing than anything else.
Scare him off the track. He had 325 miles per hour, so he's got a pretty quick car there with DRS. And right on him, isn't he? As they go through the final sector, he's just putting enormous pressure on Simicic.
The Origin guys are the ones who have highest downforce here. They both have 325. George Winter is at 324, and the rest is somewhere around 322, 321-ish. The Alessandro even with 300, because he never got DRS over the course of this race. Brzezinski once again having DRS down the main straight. That's just not long enough of a DRS zone unless the guy in front of you makes some kind of mistake where you can take advantage of, but that didn't happen. This is a repetitive story.
Now Patel has closed up a little bit on Bugazzi while we've been talking. It was a 4-second gap, it's now a 3-second gap. So that battle is kind of warming up nicely for the audience for the closing laps. In fact, it's about a 2-second gap now.
Yeah, it's half a second a lap. It's in Patel's favor at the moment on Bugazzi.
So this could be a very intriguing fight. I mean, when Patel gets under his rear wing, as we often talk about the dirty air, and anybody who's driven this mod or driven rFactor 2 in open wheelers knows that it's very, very real.
Driven an F1 car, you know.
Yeah.
Every F1 car has got dirty air, so.
Exactly.
Even a GP2 car or whatever. GP2 engine.
Yeah. And there's just this domino effect. You get into the dirty air and you suddenly lose a bit of grip, so you're then suddenly using more steered angle, and so then your fronts overheat, and so then you've got even less grip again. So it's almost like a minefield that you just don't want to tread on. You just want to just keep it at enough distance.
Absolutely.
And just pick that moment when your tyres are still good and you haven't overheated them. Pick that one moment to attack. Well, it's now 1.5 seconds between these guys. the guts are getting the throttle on very early for that long back there, but his car's not showing any lack of stability. He seems to have a nice car under him still, as he should do with 5 or 6 lap old primes. But Patel's close enough now for him to start to feel a bit of pressure now with 8 laps to go of the 56 laps of this World Championship Series race.
Let's have a look at the last lap times from these guys. Bigazzi has done a 1:36.716, which is in fact his...
Simičić has gone off track. Pressure, sorry, Jeroen.
No, go ahead.
Out of the second last corner. But he's okay to recover. Pardon me, sorry for interrupting. Please go on.
No problem, don't worry. Good spot from you. It's the second that Simičić has run off the track there. Going back though, Bigazzi has set his personal best lap of the race as Simičić goes a bit deep into turn 1. This is what I was talking about. Brzezinski seems better in turn 1. Maybe he should go for an overtaking move there if he has to do it anywhere. Bigazzi then 36.7, 36.2 from Patel last lap, another half a second. That's pretty much the way it's been going the last couple of laps the whole time. Yeah, that gap is obviously then shrinking and shrinking. In fact, last lap Bigazzi was slightly quicker than Patel, so apologies about that. I was looking at the wrong lap time. It was indeed a 36.7 from Bigazzi and a 36.8 from Patel. But I think Patel had a bit of a mistake in the middle sector. This lap it's already looking in the favor of Patel once again. And Brzezinski down the back straight, indeed lost a couple of tenths once again through that first sector, excuse me. And there we go, another repetitive story. A couple of car lengths back. He seems to be best, or close enough though, or well, he seems to be closer in turn 1 than he is in 12, to be honest, in some situations.
Yes, unfortunately, while it's lovely to be that close that you can reach out and touch them, it's really not an overtaking opportunity, is it? That really comes at the end of sector 1, is where he needs to be all over him like a cheap suit, so that he can flick open the DRS and just get that extra, the toe and the DRS.
And Peter Briojek about to lap the first car. It's Van der Niet running in 13th place. He was about to get lapped by our leader, the first car to get lapped in this race. With only 6 more laps to go. Time is running out for these guys if they want to do anything about the positions. Obviously Brzezinski is putting pressure on Simičić, but as I said, it's a repetitive story. Not a lot of things are really happening there in terms of side-by-side action and whatnot. We have obviously got Patel, who is closing down on Bigazzi by another half a second last lap. But is it going to be enough? As I said, it's running out for these guys as well. The gap is about 1.5 seconds.
The exciting thing, Jeroen, I think, is that both Brzezinski and Simičić took the option tyre pretty much at the outside edge of its operating window, you know, in terms of running 14 laps. And I know the cars are lighter and there's better rubber on the track and everything, but within a lap or two, with the intensity with which these guys have been fighting, the tyres are going to start to hurt, and the car just starts to go away from you, and mistakes can creep in. So if Brzezinski can keep this sort of intensity of pressure on Simičić, this is where mistakes can happen. And my money says you'll see a mistake from one of these guys. Either Simičić will run wide, or Kuba will have a little bit of an off. Because this is a bit like the irresistible force meeting the immovable object. 2 top guys on tyres that have passed their best, and there's only one P5 available for them.
Definitely, we'll keep a close eye out on it. Here we go again. Brzezinski just getting a couple of meters on the braking, also nailing the apex as well nicely. And then comes this quick flowing section, and he loses it again. And that's the story, pretty much. But as you said, he's putting on rather a lot of power on, or pressure I should say, on the car of Simičić and Simičić himself, of course. We'll see. Brzezinski making a slight mistake there, instantly dropping a couple of seconds. or sorry, a couple of tenths, I should say. Definitely within the DRS zone, I would say. This is slightly well, relieving for SimRacing. A bit less pressure down this back straight, at least for once.
Well, in fact, Kuba hasn't got DRS this time. First time in about 8 laps where he hasn't had DRS.
Good spot, he didn't have. At least he had some kind of slipstream, not a lot, but could pick up a little bit of a toe at least.
Now, just to jump Patel Bugatti, that's heating up now, heating up beautifully. This Hollywood couldn't have scripted this race finish better, I think. Jeroen, Patel is right on Bugatti now. Patel has DRS on the pit straight, and it's game on. Patel on fairly fresh options, Bugatti on slightly older primes, only a couple of laps older, and the primes last longer anyway. But once the primes get to a certain point, that's anything under about 70% life left, they do start to stop giving of their best. They're quite stable, but then they tend to fall away a bit. And you can see Patel is just throwing his car around through Sector 1 here through the twisty bits. And much closer to Bugatti than Brzezinski managed to be to SimRacing. And I've got a feeling there's going to be a very strong DRS attack now on the back from Patel on Bugatti. Very close indeed.
Well, here we go then. First time Patel, I think, has DRS down the back straight. He had it, of course, down the start-finish straight. He's definitely too far back at the moment, but will gain nicely a couple of tenths, of course, because of the DRS. But Bugatti having a decent straight line speed there. I mean, you said it before, David. Patel reeling him in slightly, but not all that much. Patel has to do it somewhere else, maybe. It's nice over here, though. Look at that. Those tires are definitely providing him a lot of grip. Definitely a bit more than the mediums from Bugatti. He's rather close behind him over here.
And full credit to Bugatti, because when you bear in mind that he's got to be running, you know, downforce slightly on the lower side to be getting the sort of top speed he is. He's off the track. Bugatti's off the track. Rejoins, still in front. Bit of a twitch from Patel, and these guys are really pushing now.
Here we go then. DRS for Mohamed Patel. They open up lap 54. Couple of laps to go, of course, and Patel goes for the inside, then goes back to the outside as Bugatti covered it. And nothing he can do going into turn 1 for now, at least. This is heating up for sure. With a few more laps to go, they're running out of time. At least Patel is. What is he going to do? Has he got some kind of trick for us in line and waiting? We'll see. Needs one moment where Bugatti is maybe not his best. Maybe here, for example, in turn 11. Bugatti maybe having a slightly poor exit where he absolutely nails it. Didn't really happen that time. It's a bit closer than it was last time, but you know, nothing too major.
He's really extracting goodness out of these prime tyres.
Definitely. Seems like Brzezinski is dropping back from SimRacing as well. So that seems to be cooling down a little bit.
It looks like he's written some checks there, and the option tyres have trimmed, and there's just not much left.
True, yeah.
Patel and Bugatti, it's still game on as they enter the 3 Apex right-hander. He was close enough to force an error from Bugatti last time. Bugatti runs wide a bit again this time. Bugatti got a bit of wheel spin, bit of oversteer onto it, but managed to correct it and gathered it all back in. Move to the inside to defend, and what's going to happen? All bit of contact, bit of lateral contact. Patel's front left and Bugatti's rear right, but no harm done, and nothing that should trouble anybody. This is like a fight for the win, the intensity of this fight.
Indeed.
Poor old Peter Briak, he's out there with a 15-second lead, and he's not getting a lot of camera work, I'd say, because he's just a bit like Lewis Hamilton a couple of races ago, didn't get a lot of TV coverage, but this is just such an enthralling battle.
I think Patel is quite close this time, maybe close enough. Here we go, Bigazzi
Oh, yes,
on the inside, defending for turn 12. A crucial move this is going to be for Patel. They do it around the outside, Bigazzi breaks really late, there's a slight luck up, but doesn't overshoot the corner. Patel though with the better exit. Here we go, side by side into the next corner, turn 13. They are still side by side, Patel will have the inside line for the next corner, remember, but Bigazzi closes the door firmly and says, no, this position is not for you, and holds on to it, but look at this, they are so close to each other, right in the gearbox of Bigazzi. Go through the penultimate corner. They both run quite wide over there, trying to maximize the track limits, trying to maximize everything they have got. Patel not having the best exit ever over there, Bigazzi having a bit of wheel spin as well, just trying to put the power down as early as possible, as we are in the final lap of the race at the moment, I do believe so. Patel really strong in the first corner as well, but Bigazzi having the inside line and just doesn't give the position away. And why should he? It's the final lap of the race though. Patel is running out of options. Look at this, rather close to the back of him, but picks up then the dirty air over here and gets compromised.
Well, if Bigazzi manages to hold him off, I think this is tactically as well as pure skill, you know, a superb drive, because if we recall, he went for the undercut, he went in 2 laps earlier, took the prime tyre, which put him on track 4 seconds up the road from Patel. Patel answered in his own good time with a set of options and came back out and gave chase, and this battle has been on for 8 or 9 laps.
And here he goes again. Same story as last time round, although this is the final lap of the race. It's the last shot he is going to get. Bigazzi brilliant on the braking.
And Patel's going to go for the inside this time.
Yep,
bit of contact, beautiful move by Patel.
And Patel takes the position, but went onto the inside there while Bigazzi tried to spin, and they go side by side into here as well.
No,
and Patel
contact
gets
between the
spun around by Bigazzi. And wow, what an ending to this race. Definitely they knew that it was the last lap and the final chance as well, as Broek has crossed the line to take home the victory.
I think Bigazzi has yielded the position back to Patel. He's realised that it was his error, which is very gentlemanly of him. So hats off to Bigazzi for being such a gentleman and allowing Patel to repass. And Patel will take second place, Bigazzi third, and well done, gentlemen. What an enthralling battle you just had. That was just had us on the edge of our seats here.
Definitely a really nice finish for both of them. D'Alessandro has lost his rear wing, going across the line without a rear wing. What the hell? SimRacing finishing in P5 in front of Kuba. When D'Alessandro just lost it in the final corner. Had some wheel spin, touched the barrier.
Well,
it's an interesting one.
We haven't got Chris de Jong here to ask, because I'd have to confer with him whether or not, if you finish 4th in a World Championship race, whether or not that actually does or does not constitute a full retard award. I don't think it does. I think if he finishes 4th without a rear wing, that's a genius award.
Yeah, it's the final corner of the race. I don't even think that de Jong would be really banging on that one even. Liner finishes in P8 and Kostadinov will come home in P9 with Simon picking up the final point.
Some souvenir hunter at the final corners made off with the Alessandro's rear wing by now for sure.
Here we go then, waiting for Blair Disley, who comes across the line right now. And the 13th round of the Thrustmaster Formula SimRacing World Championship is a fact as well, with Briljak then taking the victory. I almost forgot him even when he crossed the line. That is how camera shy he is. But the fact is that he takes in the end a dominant victory, David.
Well,
22 seconds to his teammate.
He showed his class, and as did so many of his performances. I think that's 7 victories now, and amazing performance by him. Also fastest for the race by about 0.4 of a second. So he's taken the full set of the win, the fastest lap. Was he on pole as well?
Well, Briljak? No, Patel was starting
Patel,
from pole.
okay. So win and fastest lap, and just to really, it's the icing on the cake of what's been an amazing season for Peter. And I certainly hope, and for all of us viewers of Formula SimRacing, that Peter Briljak decides to defend his title. I mean, he's a guy that he's the first new champion we've had in 6 years. It was 2010 that Bono House won his first one, Motorsport, and before 2015 he won his last one. So, well, 2009. So that 5-year run was ended, and Peter Briac is the first new world champion in 5 years, and I definitely hope he comes back to take on the best in the world again next season.
Yeah, I definitely hope it as well. We heard it in an interview as well. He doubts whether he is able to do it with university and whatnot. But boy, would it be nice to have his name again in for next year as well.
Well, I bet you'd like to be racing against him too, Jeroen.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a fantastic name, and he will be the reigning world champion, and of course. And once again, it's just. I don't use it often, but I have to use the word magic, because 22 seconds ahead of your teammate who even started from pole. Yeah, I mean, hats off, that's all I can say.
Yeah, indeed, and a race that had some enthralling battles, particularly as it all unfolded at the end with the various strategies, and we saw Brzezinski and Simoncic in a really tight street brawl for fifth place, and Bugatti and Patel in really, I think, one of the tightest battles we've seen over the closing laps of any race this season. And I think it was twice that the two of them went side by side through sector 3, and it was only that Patel managed to find a little corridor up the inside to grab an apex, gave him the edge, and Bugatti bumped him slightly, and being obviously the gentleman that he is, lifted and allowed him to retake the position. So, but a fabulous battle by those two race-winning drivers.
So I think that is pretty much it. We all started this evening of Chris de Jong. Fortunately, had to go because of a headache. David O'Reilly, though, is here and was here to replace him. So David, I have to say a big thank you to you for replacing him, and I must say it has been a pleasure to commentate with you. Any final thoughts from that race?
No, just
perhaps?
Thank you very much for having me again. Really exciting and enjoyable race for me here in Austin, Texas, and I hope the viewers who've watched live, and I hope the 2,000 or 3,000 people who watch over the following few weeks all enjoyed as much as we did, and we will look forward to hopefully a fabulous race. Next round is the final race at Interlagos, Brazil, and thank you. Lovely working with you, Jeroen.
Sorry, say again, please.
I said very nice working with you as well, Jeroen, and thank you very much.
Yeah. No, it was a pleasure. Definitely a pleasure. Our cameraman Sam Jones, a big thank you to you as well, who is always very quiet but definitely here to broadcast for you guys. Once again, hope you have enjoyed it. Hope you have had a good time. And I hope to see you all in 3 weeks' time. Once again, a big thanks to David, Sam Jones, and also to our president, of course, Chris Kopp, and all the work that has been going into this, into making this all work. So I hope to see you in 3 weeks' time at Interlagos, maybe with some rain, maybe with some changing conditions. We will all see. For this, or for now, though, I should say, I say a very big thank you for watching, and take care. See you in 3 weeks' time, and goodbye.